Hey guys, Compulsion84 here, and today I'm doing an overview review of the scope I use in my general purpose and 3-gun AR. This is a Vortex Viper PST 1-4x scope. As you can probably tell by its shape with the narrow front eyepiece, this is a low magnification optic meant to be shot with a little bit of eye relief. It has a big eye box. It's meant for quick target acquisition, quick shooting, and it's a good all-around scope. So this is kind of a direct competitor to the Burris MTAC in the kind of $300 to $500 low magnified scope range. And then there's a bunch that are in the $200 and $300 range, but those don't have as good a glass. This is again 1-4. There's a lot of 1-4s in the market right now, and 1-6s are starting to really penetrate. What I'll do is I'll put links to the various models of this Viper PST, as well as the Burris MTAC, and then I will also link up here my video I did about air scopes in general that's a lot longer and will cover some more general details about different configurations. But today, I'm focusing on this. So first off, why did I buy this? I bought this because I needed a 3-gun low magnification scope. To be quite honest, I didn't have the money or really want to spend $2 to $2.5 grand to get a very high-end scope like the Swarovski, or however the hell you pronounce it, that's pretty much perfect, but it's $2,500. The Razer HD Gen 2 is another great option, but it's really heavy, and again, it comes in about $1,500 to $2,000. I didn't have that kind of money, but I wanted decent glass for my general purpose AR, so I went with this, which I think I got a discount on, and I got it at like $450, maybe $425. So it doesn't break the bank, but it is a little bit of money. I find that the glass quality in this is very good. The glass is a lot better than what you typically find in a $400 to $500 optic, in my opinion. Again, I directly compare this to the Burris MTAC because they're very similar in specifications. The reason I went with this one over Burris is because I found the MTAC to be, the reticle was just a bit too large. Since then, they've now put out a smaller reticle that's less cluttered that I might, contemplate buying if I didn't already have one of these. This one is nice. It's got very small markings that are very easy to see. It's also got illumination, which you control this knob right here, but to be honest, neither this nor the MTAC is super bright, especially in sunlight. Another nice feature is that there's stops between each illumination adjustment, so you can keep it set between 9 and 10 or 5 and 6. You don't need to go all the way back to 0 to turn it off. So this scope comes in 3 models. There's 2 with uncapped turrets. I've got the capped version myself. The uncapped versions come in both MRAD and MOA versions, and then the capped version comes in MOA versions. They're all at 1/2 MOA, and they have a generous adjustment range of 90 MOA, which if you're familiar with long-range target shooting is a lot. They're meant to be 0 to 100 yards, so all your adjustments go from there, and they do have these nice lifting turrets, which allow you to change your 0. There's no Allen keys or anything like that. You just get to where you need to be, lift it up, and drop it back down. It's quite nice. So the scope comes in at about 9 3/4 inches long, it weighs 14.5 ounces, and the eye relief is about 4 inches. The objective is 24 millimeters. Again, this is a 30 millimeter tube, so it lets a little bit more light in, and in my opinion generally becomes clearer. It's got a glass etched reticle, and all the optics are fully coated. It is second focal plane, so the reticle does change slightly when you magnify it, so if you ever want to shoot it like 2 or 3x, it might not be the best, and you might want to invest in a first focal plane. For me, I'm either at 1 or 4x, so it's not that big of a deal. I just learn my holdovers at 4x versus 2 or 3. And this thing has the usual stuff like waterproofing, it's anodized, all that usual junk. The one really neat thing about the Vortex scopes is it's got an unconditional lifetime guarantee, so assuming you didn't do something grossly negligent or purposely damage it, they will repair it or replace it for your lifetime. And that's pretty good, because some scope manufacturers really, they have short warranties, or they kind of try to screw you if you have some sort of problem with it. So again, the 1/2 MOA turrets have nice, satisfying clicks. They work really well. Again, I prefer the capped version because I don't want to accidentally adjust the 0, especially when I'm doing 3-gun and you're roughly handling a gun, like throwing it on a table or putting it in a barrel. It's really important to keep that 0 protected. So that's why I like these caps. The uncapped versions have large, I'm not going to say full target knobs, but they're, pretty dang close. They're easy to see, they're easy to adjust. They look really good. I haven't personally used those, but just looking at the pictures, you can tell it's going to be simple to adjust, simple to read. A good quality thing. If you're going to be doing purely kind of stationary bench shooting, that might be a good option if you don't want to be fumbling around with caps. For me, I'm going to be doing action shooting, and I am not going to be changing my zero. I'm going to zero this thing at 100 and then leave it alone, and then I'm going to learn holdovers with the reticle. Speaking of the reticle, one of the reasons why I like this scope compared to others, I'll try to show you best I can on screen with some camera shots as well as the reticle image. So it's got the 4-part broken up circle with the illuminated center dot, and again, it's not a red dot. All the broken up parts of the circle and the center dot glow, but it's not super bright. The nice part about the 4-part broken circle is that when you're up close, if this was, the circle right here, you're going to be aiming with the bottom part of the circle. So I'm not going to be aiming with a dot, and if you're doing real quick shots, you just kind of get the bottom part of the circle in the general region where you want to hit. And based on your holdovers, your ammo type, etc., you'll be right on target. So for quick shooting, especially for silhouettes or, big things, the circle is very nice, and I really like it a lot. My one problem with the reticle is that my eyes are terrible, and at long range, at 100 yards I'm fine, but at 400 yards, I really have to squint to see the graduations and markings. I could hit a plate that was roughly this size, but when I was going to a plate about this size, I was really struggling to hit it with this scope. Versus with the Burris MTAC, it had the very clear kind of pinpoint markings and I think a hollowed out circle for one of them. So I found that very easy to hit at 400. But again, for up close, I found the MTAC to be too blocked off. I'll show both reticles for that real quick right here, because again, that's another great optic. I almost want to go back to it sometimes because while this has a lot of strengths, the MTAC also has a lot of strengths, and it's hard to say. The glass in both is comparable. This one is a little bit better in my opinion. The other thing I do want to mention is I did put a throw lever on here. A throw lever is by no means a Vortex exclusive, but it is something just to show you because not everybody's seen them. To be honest, they're really expensive for what they are. I mean, it's a metal machine part that you tighten down and it goes over the ridges. It's kind of hard to show without this being on a gun, but what you do is you take this and it enables you to quickly transition your scope from the minimum magnification to the max, which in this case again is 1-4x. So right there, I just went to 4x, compared if you had to do this normally. So if I were to do that, I would have to turn my hand a whole bunch of times to get the required number of turns. But the scope is meant to be beat on a little bit. It's very durable. I've used this for about 2 years, maybe 2.5. I don't remember exactly when I got it. Again, I'm very happy with it. It runs about $450 to $500. I can kind of strongly recommend it. It's one of the mid-range, low magnification scopes, whether you want it just for 3-gun or for just, for some reason you don't want a fixed 4 and you don't want to go all the way out to 9, it can be good for that as well. The cheaper ones are usually about $200 and the more expensive ones are over $1,000. Fun fact, the Vortex Viper PST line is more than just low magnification scopes. In fact, I think this is the only low magnification one. Just glancing at their product pages, there's a lot of 4 to 16s, 2.5 to 10s, 6 to 24s, but it works well. I have mine mounted on my AR in a 3-inch offset mount, so I get it very forward. It's got a good eye box, it works well for me. I can adjust the focus to be exactly what I want. And if you were wondering, the reason I don't care that I took this off is because I wanted to move my scope back a little bit, so I didn't really mind disturbing my zero for this video and taking it off, because I had to do it anyways. So I'm filming this 2 days before I go to the range. Once it's back on, I'm not taking it off again, because I hate re-zeroing scopes. Again, that was the Vortex Viper PST 1-4x scope. This is a great option if you're in the $400 to $500 range. I recommend it. I would just say reticle is a very personal choice. Look around the internet, do some research. Again, take a look at my AR scope video. I'll link it below as well. That'll give you kind of an idea of a lot of scopes in this $300 to $500 range. But find a reticle that you like and start there. That's my advice. So once you find a reticle you like, do some research on the scopes. Make sure they're good quality. There's a lot of stuff out there. The low magnification optics sector kind of exploded in the past few years. So there's a lot of great options. Again, I would say I'd start you looking at this optic or the Burris MTAC. They're both, in my opinion, great options, and they'll suit you real well in this kind of range. If you have any questions about this optic or why I chose it or anything else, feel free to leave them below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more great gun, gaming, and gadget videos. I'm Compulsion84, and I'll see you next time.